Okay, greetings everybody. It is I, having somehow gotten my podung setup work, and the camera up here is dying. Just add it to the list of technology that is failing. I'm not a big fan of Logitech cameras anymore. Alright, that being said, we have a bunch of light characters on the screen. You know what this video is all about if you saw a title card. So let's talk about the global exclusive character Sylvie. That's not what that is. Okay, let me talk about this for about a minute and a half, and then I'll move on. Addison Rae. I've seen this kind of collaboration before in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, where they did like Ariana Grande or whatever her name is, or whatever the Starbucks size is of that person's name. You know what? Like, honestly, I have no clue about who Addison Rae was before this, and I really don't have much of a clue who Addison Rae is after. I feel like this is very similar in like context towards the FFB Ariana Grande collaboration, where they do this collaboration with the star from a social media thing, or some famous outside, because one of the developers or the producer is a fan of her for whatever reason. Not going to get into it, and she has no idea what this game was beforehand, and she also has no idea what this game is after. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe Addison Rae is a avid player. Maybe she's been watching my YouTube videos forever. Somehow doubt it, because I'm a podunk nobody. There, see, before anybody could be like, you're not as good as Addison Rae, I did it for you, just to save everybody a little bit of time, because I'm nice. Honestly, whatever. I feel like this will just come and go kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. Don't think it's worth spending money. Move on with our lives. I did question whether this was an OnlyFans star before finding out that it was a TikTok star. I don't know. Don't correct me on it. Don't care. All right, so let's talk about the real thing today, which is Sylvie, as well as Sylvie's vision card. And you know what? Let's talk about Sylvie's vision card first. Now, this vision card, UR 70 cost, so it's not incredibly expensive to get. Bonuses for Sylvie, and really just an overall magic, powerful vision card. You think about which characters could be good with this. Starlit Elena, as well as Jaden, benefit pretty well from this. Not just Sylvie, but exactly what that team looks like for light. I mean, this is a job-based vision card, and taking a look at the sword red mage category, I mean, you're looking at, of course, red mages, you're looking at Gilgamesh, right? You're looking at, Cecil, who doesn't benefit from this at all. There are some jobs here that are interesting. I think Pioneer of the Blue Light, which is JP translation, or just, Starlit Elena, probably one of the bigger beneficiaries of this vision card. And then we take a look at this, which is Sylvie. And I'm sure that maybe some people don't know who Sylvie is. Sylvie was kind of a counterpart to Esther, and I say kind of because they don't look the same, but effectively, like, they came in kind of a pairing of Esther came out of like a dimensional portal, and Sylvie, and then they teamed up, and they're both sword fighters or whatever, although it looks like Sylvie here is like a mage, although I think Sylvie might also have been I don't remember what she was in Brave Exvius, but her like profile mentioned like sword training and whatnot. But Sylvie is coming, like, and she was a friend with Esther, but Esther's lightning and Sylvie's light, so kind of similar, but not going to be on the same team, I guess. So we have Bunny Loving Knight as her main job, whatever, and White Mage sub Blade Soul 100 cost, yuck. I'm just tired of 100 cost characters at this point, unless we're just going to get better raids in the future. But let's take a look. What does this character have? The recover HP L of allies within range, bestows a barrier that reduces damage 1 time, bestows AP restore for self for 3 times. So a healing limit burst, slightly power crept, but not too terribly much. Barriers aren't a super big concern because, you know, most OP characters do have barrier removal, so I don't think that's really all that interesting. And you kind of want the barrier before, but okay, let's say it's good. Bestows AP auto restore small for self. Providing she has a huge amount of AP, this might still be okay, but small AP restore isn't really that exciting. I mean, the fact that she is just looking to be a mage-based character should mean that she has a good, healthy AP start. But auto restore small, I don't know. It feels like it was like 5 o'clock on Friday, and they're like, we're going home. This doesn't feel quite. Yeah, just throw that on there. Tack it on, sure, why not? All right, clever paladin strike. So I guess she's a paladin with a magic paladin. I'm very confused on what exactly this character is going to be stat-wise. Removes re-raise from targets within range, then deals damage M based on caster's magic stat. Chance of inflicting slow for 3 turns. So we're seeing also very similar in terms of design to Sephiroth, of having multiple large AoEs, removing certain status effects and whatnot, while also having maybe some other penalties along with this. So I don't think that there's anything too amazing here. Medium damage doesn't feel like it will be that good at closing out, at least upon initial reactions. Removing re-raise, I mean, you really want to kill a target, so otherwise you kind of just waste your re-raise. Also doesn't have the most highest in terms of range height or area height. I'm not overly excited about this, but okay, it's a magic-based slashing attack. It might be kind of interesting. As for bunny protection, bestows re-raise on self. Unit automatically recovers from KO status once per battle. That's minimum. Also an additional effect, bestows shells while re-raise is in effect. Honestly, I could not care more about this, or could not care less. Plenty of units are good at removing re-raise, either from a distance or with abilities. Many of them are on physical attacks. There's plenty of good physical attack teams out there. So, I mean, this feels very much more against a mage. So maybe this was kind of designed to be against Amneris. But Sephiroth, for example, has no trouble against light units and is very capable of removing re-raise with some of his attacks. So honestly, let's look at this unit in 2 ways: a general way as well as a anti-Sephiroth, because she is a light elemental character. And, Sephiroth just came out on JP, and a lot of globalers have stated multiple times, saving for Sephiroth, which is usually when a counter element comes out and is OP. Like you look at Esther, who came out around the time of Astrius, if I'm remembering correctly, around roughly what that timing was. Feels very similar kind of thing of just being like, and Esther is, pretty good. Some people say that she's fallen off a little bit, but I'm sure there will be people in the comments who say she's good. Honestly, just blah about all of this. Like, in terms of against Sephiroth, as I've shown off multiple times, has the stats and the capability of killing multiple characters. In terms of the best thing that Light has going against Sephiroth is Engelbert, because Engelbert is a cheap, really high HP tank who will probably, especially when he gets his reincarnation, look even better in terms of being strong against other types of DPS. I've seen tests against this guy, and he is more than capable of surviving that kind of physical assault, not necessarily a magic assault. So I think that if you are really super interested in Sylvie, I do feel like this is going to be the teammate for her to keep her safe and protected. And, this guy would benefit from a lot of healing effects. Maybe Sylvie will be more healing focused. Maybe she'll be more DPS focused. I mean, that with her AI, we'll have to see. But she might just pair very well with Engelbert in the sense that both of them, she can heal him up. And I'm thinking essentially of JP's current a gold quality team, which is Skahal teamed up with Resnick, where Resnick is capable of usually just keeping up and healing consistently and keeping Skahal's guts around, which makes Skahal very difficult to kill. Skahal can just end up dealing a whole bunch of magic damage and killing opponents, and that's really good too. So that could be a similar style team up that Sylvie will have here. You know, just looking at a all offense team, I don't think that Dark would have any trouble killing them off. Mostly the thing that Sephiroth seems to be bad with, as well as many other units currently on the JP, is just dealing with incredibly great range teams. Like, you need to be built against range. Magic is not too much of a concern. Maybe that leaves an opening, but I don't know. I'm just not really all that excited about a healer. I think that this is good for the light element. Another Blade Soul is really cool. White Mage, I'm not super excited about, but this feels like a little bit hard to evaluate. Because looking at her, I don't know if this is, as a JP player, like exactly what her main job is supposed to be. It feels very scattered across multiple things. Like it's HP, but it's support, but it's also auto restore for herself. So it's some for other characters and some for her. And then you look at her Paladin Strike, and it's like remove re-raise and deal damage and inflict slow, and it's like, well, okay, it's status effect, but it's also dealing damage, but it's also re-raise cancel. But is her DPS that good, considering that her limit burst is really focused on healing, like Resnick, for example? Not the greatest DPS. Very, very great healer, and just kind of can do some DPS. Then you look at Bunny Protection, which is like re-raise, and it's like, is this one cast? It's only minimal amount of HP. Like, if you were going straight DPS against, if this was a unit that was meant to be against Sephiroth and you just go purely DPS, I feel like this doesn't really do enough. So, like, preemptive, just looking at the in-game news, I'm sure that there was more information in the video, but just going off of this, until I see the rest of her kit, I'm not overly impressed. I'm not overly feeling like she's going to be that much of a meta breaker, at least until we see how overtuned she is as a global exclusive unit. Again, maybe she's just really good. I mean, there's no incentive for Gumi to make a non-appealing one. And there's synergy between the vision card and other characters in the light element. It's just that light, in terms of evasion on JP now, is pretty much gone. Especially with all the Sephiroths floating around, and will be floating around for the foreseeable future. I don't know. I just want to know more about her main job, because it's very split as to what she is. And I'm not convinced that she will excel exceedingly well as a healer, because it does seem like a good portion of her kit seems to be DPS. I don't know. I really don't know how to call this one. Even looking at my initial impression as a JP player is pass, because light needs more than just this. From my JP perspective, it's like I would like to see light have more DPS options, maybe more avenues into it. I want to see Engelbert into reincarnation. I don't know. This just doesn't feel that amazing. And also the fact that like Shadow Links is the following month. You know, Yuffie's coming out, and Yuffie might provide a new avenue for evasion teams that are just better than light overall. I don't know. I'm not convinced that Sylvie at this point. Maybe I'll make another video when I see the rest of her kit in actual numbers and not just a Gumi promotionary video, because I really want to see the numbers. But so far, I don't know. If she's just on a straight DPS team, I don't think she'll last against some of the other teams that are out there. And if we're just talking about like a An outlasting team? I don't know. Like, Engelbert's kind of already either just going to get there or not. Like, I don't know. If you already have Yuna, curious about how much better this unit could actually be if you're just kind of running that team in the first place. I don't know. Leave your impressions in the comment below. My, so far as a JP player, if she came out today on JP, I would say pass, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.